We explore the university, I try a bunch of crazy mixed drinks, and then I find out that romance poetry could also be used as heavy metal lyrics. Tübingen is one of the 5 classic university towns in Germany. They don't have an Ivy League system here, but it would be one if they did. The former Pope Benedict, numbers, was a chair in dogmatic theology here before becoming a former pope. Anyway, there's a link in the show notes to a Wikipedia page of dates and people you can slog through if history trivia is your thing. Our thing today, though, is looking at funny vegetables in the farmer's market until Marcus shows up. This is fractal or Romanesco broccoli. You can Google and find more info, but the number of points on these is usually a Fibonacci sequence number. As Marcus shows up, the temperature starts to peak, and we all decide we need to get something to drink. Now is as good a time as any to explain the Germans' love of mixing drinks together. This is a Spezi. It's a Fanta and cola mixed together. They love Apfelschorle too, which might sound exotic, but it's just carbonated mineral water and apple juice. Finally, we should talk about the problem with ice. Germans don't use ice in anything, so you have to request it special, and it's usually kind of a hassle for them to find it for you. If you commonly order iced coffee, you're gonna be out of luck. If you ask for one, it will probably sound like Ich Kaffee to a German. That's coffee with ice cream floating in it. It'll be delicious, but probably not what you're expecting. The trick I've found for getting cold coffee in Germany is to buy it hot and then wait. After wetting our whistles, we stroll across to Neckar Island, which is a beautiful park linked to the city by footbridges. Marcus points out a house Fredrich Hölderlin stayed in. He was a famous poet from the 1700s that helped develop the German idealism movement. A bunch of his famous quotes sound like heavy metal lyrics, though. For example, Song of Destiny ends with, "To us allotted, no restful haven to find. They falter, they perish, poor suffering mortals, blindly as moment follows moment, like water from mountain to mountain impelled, destined to disappearance below." And just to be clear, he wrote a lot of pretty poems about how much he loved nature as well. After the sun stops melting Tübingen, Marcus proves how Germany is again by inviting us all on a 12-kilometer hike to a pub. To him, this is a tiny stroll. The path has a number of signs with Johann Ludwig Uhland quotes from the Shepherd's Winter Song. Ostensibly, it's about how much the shepherd loves summer, but the subtext is that he can't make out with his girlfriend in winter because the only place they have to hang out is her parents' house. At the end of the path, we find Irene's Hofladel, or farm shop, as Google translated it. From the menu, it appears to be just a country-style kitchen, though it is actually attached to a barn and a duck pen. Marcus gets me to order another mixed drink called a Radler. It's beer and Sprite, and I know that sounds weird, but it's incredibly refreshing. The delicious dinner here is spicy mustard, sausage, bread, and sauerkraut. I can't understand why sauerkraut in Germany is so much better than what I've been given in the US. I've universally hated this stuff on everything but a Reuben sandwich. Walking back, Felix decides to mark some territory. Marcus stands with him and gazes into the forest. A majestic fox emerges from the underbrush. All three share a moment looking at each other before the fox darts away, vanishing into the woods. My nature sighting of the evening is what Germans call a shellless snail. It's a slug.